Lewis Thompson, talkSPORT MMA here with the main man himself, Mr. Pavol Neruda. How are you today?
Hi, thank you for inviting me here. I'm good. I'm great. Like still full of emotions after the weekend.
I'm gonna start right on that. As one of the co-founders of Octagon MMA, Pavol, I have to ask you about last Saturday, in which Octagon 62 in Frankfurt, close to 60,000 fans. Just talk to me about that whole, the last few weeks, the build up to that event, and I'm sure the big sense of satisfaction that you got after, seeing it just all fold out in front of you. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, crazy, crazy. Like I mean, it's you dream about something, right? You start to plan it, put it all together, all the pieces of the puzzle. And like last week's months was really super intense because we have 15 tournaments this year, but this one was like, the tournament. And when we started selling tickets, it was May or June. I'm not sure now, June. We were like thinking, okay, anything above like 40 will be great. And not just financially, but you know how it looks in such a big arena. If you have 20,000 people, it's kind of empty, right? And you want to make a great show. You want to make people having fun and feeling special. And so we were literally saying ourselves like, okay, anything about 40 will be great. And in the first 3 weeks, we sold 40,000. And we were like, wow, like, okay, the momentum is great. So we knew at that time, okay, we'll sell this thing out for sure. And that happens at the end. So the last weeks before the tournament was super intense. We made the collaboration with the RTL, which is the biggest broadcaster in Germany, because even they cannot resist such a thing. Okay, this is something extraordinary happening here. Nobody sold so many tickets for this thing. And so it was in all over the TV stations, broadcasters, podcasts, radio stations, everywhere. And at the end, we made the event, and we did in June 30,000 people in Prague on football stadium. That was a remarkable like moment in our history. And also give us a kind of confidence to do such a big stadium like this in Frankfurt. But still, it's double size. It's 60,000 people, and you just really want to make it right. And we screw it up in many, small things on the event. We were like, "Oh my God, this is the mistake. This is the mistake." But we see it. But normal people, the fans behind the TV screens or on the at the stadium, they didn't. Of course, it was all like perfect from their perspective. So we are very, very happy with that. And I would say it was really amazing. Like how actually fans were super nice. There was many new fans. I was curious. Okay, they will be cheering up for fighters. Will they come from the first fight as they used to on our events, or they will come for last three? You never know what to expect if there's so many new fans. And they came from the first fight. They cheered them up like immediately, like oh, like when there was a good hit. Oh, like this football atmosphere is different in arena than in football stadium. It's more like slow but more intense the noise of the crowd. So it was really amazing. And John Newman pushed the halftime show, which was like yeah, like big party in the middle of the tournament.
I did see some of the clips from that, and it just looked sensational. Just to be a part of in general. And Pavel, you touched there on some of the mistakes that you made for the event, and I'm sure that you are yourself a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to big grand events like this. And I'm sure they're not really as bad as what you thought they were at the time. But what were the kind of things that crept up during the event that you thought should have went another way?
Yeah, yeah. Like for example, we started and the small girl was singing the German anthem, and there was some they screwed up in the OB van something, and she was not on the queue. And then she finished, and it was me and my partner Andre. We were like inviting fans, like welcome, like here it is, and still like nothing on the screen, just German flag waving. And we were talking, and we were like, "Are we in?" At least it's broadcast. You don't know if it's just your voice or people can see you at least on broadcast because on venue they couldn't. So that was like one thing. Or for example, we planned as a promo, do one stare down between two guys to promote another tournament. And someone made a mistake that they were not there in front of the cage when we want to, everything was ready. People, commentator, cameras, and th that was not there. So we have to move on. Like it, to me, we don't do these mistakes normally, but yeah, sometimes such a big scale tournament and sometimes mistakes happens.
And I've seen clips of yourself before in the past, Pavel, talking about the mentality going into these kind of things. And you used to be a bodyguard at uni and a photographer, and you worked in the stock market as a day trader, I believe, as well. So what kind of mindset do you have, to stay on top of an event like this? And I'm sure it is very motivating, when you see the final product, but in the build up to that process, how do you keep yourself going each day?
Oh yeah, that's a good question actually because it's not easy every day. Because it's so many challenges. You have one ultimate vision, and passion. I think these two things are the crucial. Like if you want to achieve something, this is your biggest like motivation to wake up every day and push the thing to make it happen. Like, so my vision and my partner, it's like, and the whole our team is to be the really like Champions League for the MMA. Like, but by Champions League, I mean, I really like it's played the game in London, but whole Europe is watching, or in Barcelona or whatever. So, and we see it like so big, the millions are watching each tournament. So it gives you this, okay, so how to get there? So you need to make this step, this kind of tournament. We need to this kind of media partnership and expand to this market, that one, and so on. And also, it's like how the company is growing, and nobody actually can prepare you for this. You can have MBA behind your name, but still, like in reality, it's different. Like how you are just bunch of enthusiasts at the beginning. Then you are a little bit bigger, like 50 people. Okay, now we have a problem with communication, and then people change. Then you grow to different markets, and you need to be better every day and deal with these things and motivate people in company and push them. It's not only you who is doing all the stuff and decision, it's them. And all these things, like it's really I would say that's the beauty of the process on one side that you must become a better person every day so you can lead such a company. But it's a challenging thing, but I love it. I feel it makes me better.
Well, that's a good thing that you love it at least. I would like to think that you didn't love it. It'd be pretty hard to
Yeah,
pull something like that off, wouldn't
yes,
it? But
exactly.
we've seen very big MMA events in the past. The UFC were at the Sphere in Las Vegas recently, and we have seen big spectacles and shows, in the past, but we've never quite seen the numbers that you pulled off, for Octagon in Frankfurt. And I just wanted to ask you, is that something that you look at and, think, wow, 60,000? And do you sort of pay like close attention to them numbers, or is it now just a case of, right, no, we're going to get bigger and bigger, and let's just keep expanding this?
I would say, yeah, if you just want to make it bigger, bigger and expand. I mean, in time, you cannot do this kind of event every week or not even every year, maybe. But in close future, we want to like even be better than make a bigger event than this number because that it gives you this like great feeling of like satisfaction, joy, fan, and you can see the tribunes and the whole full stadium full of people, and you're thinking, oh my God, we like wake up their interest so much that they travel here, spend their money for tickets and everything, and they'll sit here 7 hours, watch our tournament. Like, wow, 60,000 people. You want this. It's like fuel for your motivation. So, I mean, I'm happy for every great event like UFC did in Australia, the biggest ones there, or Sphere in Vegas. It was just amazing. Like, wow, spectacular, right? Or other promotions. I love it. I mean, it moves sport forward, And more of this, the better for everyone who is in the sport.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask you about some of those UFC events, Pavel. Do you ever look at those kind of things that are going on and try and take inspiration from them, or do you try and keep, a very separate brand identity when it comes to Octagon?
I would say I got with my passion to the sports, of course, with through the fighters that I knew at the time, like 15 years back. But also through the UFC, I love these events when Anderson Silva was fighting, or Ronda Rousey, and these
Yeah,
great times of UFC. I just love it. They did such a good job. Like without them, MMA would not exist, obviously. So at that time, I saw things that I get passionate about, and I want to bring something, like I was thinking that people here can be entertained by something similar. So yes, we were more inspired that time. But now, I mean, last years I have not that much time to watch UFC. I watch the biggest events. I still like it, but now we are trying to be like our own, because I think like too much looking how someone else is doing it, you will just, it will not be unique, it will not be yours, it will not come out from yourself. And I think the fans will feel it. It's just not real or authentic. Maybe that's the right word. And so that's why we are more like going our way and sometimes doing crazy stuff, and make it like a summer party. So everyone is dressed in this. Shirts, Hawaiian shirts, and we have this pink, how it's called, the animal, the
a
oh,
flamenco.
yes, yes, these things around the arena, when people are having fun. So you
Yes.
can do this kind of stuff and telling the world that you are maybe different, more like for the families and more friendly.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, and obviously Dana White has proved that the MMA it works obviously in the long term because from where they started to where they are now, it's drastically different. And I just wanted to ask you about Octagon. Like, what would you say sets apart your sort of brand, and what makes you unique in your own sense? And is there a particular kind of message that you're trying to drive forward to separate yourself from other big, sort of rival MMA promotions?
yes, yes, 100% sure. And that's the stories. Like me and Andre, my partner, we are storytellers, and we have been storytellers before we founded Octagon, and that's how we communicated with the fans. We like those fighters and their stories so much, and we want to share with the world. And thanks to this fact, we make people care about them. So that's why we have full arenas from the first fight. I believe not any other promotion in the world has like this. Mostly people are coming for the main card, or in countries like Poland or Croatia, they are just going for some fighter, and when he's done, they just leave one part of the stadium, just going home. And what we have is like very passionate crowd, and it's like grandpa with grandson, like girls and boys. It's a very nice crowd. Thanks to this, we are very friendly. We call ourselves like Disney Channel of MMA. It's more like this. We are not afraid to having fun, showing the human side of the sport, but still at the end it's at the sport. But we see the fighters as someone who are very inspiring athletes, like someone who is facing their fears to go there and fight in front of such a big crowd, in this hard sport. How how strong your will must be, right? And to face that. And I think it's for people, this is what we want to give to our fans. Like everyone is struggling with your inner fear in many situations. Just maybe sometimes telling the truth to your colleague, what you think, or I don't know, like go and make a license for parachute, or I don't know what. Sometimes even for a car, people are scared, and I think that there are great examples of fighters that go and face your fear. So I would say this is the main thing. The package is different. It's this Disney Channel kind of style. And also for European fans, we have European fighters. We are in the proper time. You can watch it in UK from 5 p.m. at nice evening, having beer with friends at the bar. it's not early morning somewhere. You have to wake up at 4 a.m. I think this is a great also advantage for the European fans.
Mm. And you mentioned the UK there, and I will finish on that, but I just want to go back quickly to what you said before. Like you said, you want to make people care, from the stories of these fighters, because at the end of the day, that is one of the most marketable things about MMA is every single fighter has their own individual, unique story. But I think in order to achieve that, you have to start building, superstars within the brand that can help the brand naturally grow, if that makes sense. And we've seen, names like Francis Ngannou and Conor McGregor just become like complete national, like worldwide, celebrities. So for anyone who isn't familiar with Octagon, obviously we had two Germans headlining the main event in Frankfurt, which is very very impressive. I can't lie, but who would you say is your own version of a Conor McGregor or Francis Ngannou in your roster at the minute?
Oh yeah, we have like actually the guys they had a co-main event in Frankfurt. It was Patrick Kinsel and Kedim Mengicek. They are both like in world top 50 by rankings and fight metrics, like so the absolute top world class of fighters. Long time undefeated. The Patrick Kinsel, he was 950 days our champion, pound for pound, the best fighter. He lost, so he's not anymore. But he lost against the guy, Kenim Engitsek, who didn't lose 11 years. Like, this is super unique. Like, I mean, he was active. It was not like he had a 5 years break or something. He was active 11 years without a loss. That's something. And also we have like the special tournament. It's a 1 million euro tournament called TipSport Game Changer. And this year it's in a lightweight category. And now we are going to find the finals in December. And there are two guys, Ronald Paradiser and Lozen Keita. And those two guys are like absolutely like superstars, like world class fighters, interesting characters. Lozen Keita, like three times all the big promotions want to take him when our contract was finished. And he always like re-signed with us, and he said, "No, I'm happy here. I want to stay." And he's like super like interesting fighter. He is fighting in bantam and also in lightweight. Very skillful kid from Belgium, and he's unique. So I would say this kind of characters. Then we have many others for different weight classes. Carlos Vemola, he's ex-UFC fighter. Lucia Pudilova, also a ex-UFC fighter. Or Will Fleury. I think the Will Fleury, how he called himself, Will Fleury, that he is he. I think if he will do it right, he can be the big star in Europe, and especially for the UK and Ireland. I think next year, I think his name will resonate on islands. So we have many fighters, and also Akon Wanless, big UK prospect, and one guy which maybe could be like I don't know, like Georges St-Pierre, maybe. I mean, I know it sounds ambitious, but it's George Staines from Hull, from UK, the guy who played with Lego and is like kind of geeky kid. But in Cage, he's just amazing. He's one of the best fighters. I mean, he's still rookie, let's say, but he won the IMF World Championship, European Championship. Very like a big prospect from UK. And I think these kind of guys, when they grow, that will be fun for whole Europe and for UK as well, actually.
You just got me very excited there. I can't lie, Pavol. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned there about when some of the other organizations were trying to come in, and when the contract is ending within your promotion. So what are you saying to your fighters to stay within Octagon rather than, because obviously with the growth of MMA now, you've got the PFL and Bellator, the UFC, yourselves, and the, I think competition is only going to get, it's only going to increase. So, what are you saying to your guys to say, listen, no, I want you to stay here with us?
Yeah, like it was actually an interesting journey. Like at the beginning, we always had to leave the clausule in contract that they can leave to to the big promotions. Now they make it more narrow, so it was just you can go to UFC if there will be an offer from them. And now we have contracts like no, it's just Octagon and nowhere else. And when the contract is going to the end, of course, like we negotiate, and we are very, very thankful, grateful, happy that those guys are now like even refusing the offers from PFL, Bellator, KSW, or even UFC because they understand that. For the best example is Lozen Keita because he's most like requested fighter from all other promotions, and he decided to stay because we are European based. So we make you star here, and you fight 3, 4 times per year, or so much more often than you would fight, for example, in UFC. It's here, so it's the proper time a day, so it's better for sponsors and really make care about you. So you walk on the street in Germany, Czechia, Slovakia now, and people are just making photos with you, like like everywhere in shopping centers. They're like real stars, and you will not experience this in not in PFL, Bellator, not in UFC until you are not top five or something. Then you are world star, a star, and that's like different story, obviously. But and somehow we don't even have to tell them. Now they feel it. That's a great thing. They want they are like, oh, I want to fight in front of 60,000 people. You know, it's lifetime experience. And Octagon can give this to me, or 30,000 in Prague, or 20,000 in arenas that we are doing. So this is something what and arena is full, people are cheering for you, and you feel the most happy in your life. And this is what you cannot experience in other promotions. Again, unless you are not top, let's say 10 in UFC, then that's a different story. You are main card on the great events, and that's very different. Yeah.
That's very interesting to hear in a sense of that, you can offer that experience quite an early stage of someone's career compared to, at the UFC you may have to work for quite a long time, to headline a card, etc. Pavol. But I wanted to ask you about the UK. The thing I'm most interested to hear about is when you guys are coming back to the UK. We've had you in Manchester last November, and we had you in Newcastle in January this year. So when can we expect to see you guys back in the UK or Ireland potentially?
Yes, yes. Soon, like we just waiting for
How
the
soon?
prop, like probably next year. That's the but we'll see. There must be like uh also in the roster, it's supposed to be the good situation for that. So we need a great fight. I would say, for example, Will Fleury, for example, he can go for the belt or defending his belt if it will happen. It could be in Ireland. I can imagine this thing in Dublin, right?
Okay.
Or other UK fighters will grow, and then will be the proper time. Also, we are touching one, I would say, big celebrity match or fight, which will be between big stars from UK, and it could be also the proper time. So right now we are waiting for the best fit in this manner, and then we'll enter UK. We like it. Their fans are amazing. Like we always broke the record. I would say 4,000 plus fans on events, which is more than anyone else except UFC. And the fans were amazing. Like the atmosphere, what they can make. It was the love they give fighters and to us. Like it's great. We want to go back.
You mentioned two celebrity names there that could be involved in if you were return to the UK. Can you give us any kind of hints to who that might be?
Hmm. Yeah, it can be very, very, very famous athlete, one of them.
Okay, athlete. any specific sport you can give away?
It's very, very, very popular sport in UK. Leave it like that.
Okay, so I think we might be talking about a football player here.
I will not comment this.
Yeah. Well, that is very, very interesting, Pavel. And just lastly, you mentioned, you've been to Manchester, you've been to Newcastle, and you mentioned there Dublin. Any other areas you've scouted out in the UK that you've looked at? There's London as well that could
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
potential.
definitely. Definitely London. London is interesting. Dublin, and Manchester. We feel that this is the areas where it makes most sense for sure now for the next tournament.
Really, that Pavel, that's great, and thank you so much for your time today. I really want to find out who this footballer is now, who, who we can expect to see in the UK soon next year for Octagon. But honestly, I wish you the best, and you've done a great job with Octagon, and I just can't wait to see how much it's going to grow.
Oh my God. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.